Shout out to Cuomo, he ain't got a job now. Democrats and the crackhead bow wow. Like Lil Brothers and a phone in Gaston. Cuomo got problems with the ladies Nick Cannon. He with his accent. And when I say Cuomo, you say no, no. Cuomo, no, 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 no. When I say this, you say Cuomo, this. Cuomo, this. Cuomo. I need you to see your best.
That video was from last night from New York City, where the people there celebrated their liberation from the cruel, evil, and vindictive rule of Mr. Goomba Johnny Andrew Cuomo. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski of WeAreChange.org. Lots of absolutely imperative news to get into, especially when it comes to the censorship of speech, and now even U.S. senators. Yep, we definitely crossed the Rubicon. We're going to get into that, plus a lot more. Inflation, supposed infrastructure. But before we do that, plus a lot more, I think it's fair to say that a lot of people are generally pleased that finally Andrew Cuomo has resigned in disgrace, but I do have to say that there definitely feels like there's a lot more to the story that we don't even know about yet. And when it comes to politics, especially in New York, it is usually shrouded in conspiracy and criminal elements whose standard protocol is to deceive people in order to achieve political power. What really happened here behind the scenes with Andrew Cuomo, who was loved, adored, and even seen as the future of the Democratic Party? I think only with time we will get the bigger truth of what actually happened here. But seriously, looking at some of these allegations against him comparatively to what he did to elderly people, there's absolutely no comparison to the larger injustices here that the Cuomos definitely haven't faced the true ramifications of. In related criminal elements within our government news, we of course have the latest announcement that the infrastructure bill passed. A bill that has very little to do with actual infrastructure, but has been criticized as a larger woke SJW equity and benefits initiative by the Biden administration that, with the help of Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, and other Republican U.S. senators, somehow, for some reason, passed. Also in the bill, as we're finding out after its passing, is the announcement of a tax pilot program that will literally be taxing people for every mile that they drive. Yes, the government is literally allocating $125 million towards figuring out how to tax you for every single mile that you choose to drive. This on top of an already existing gas tax, local taxes, and tolls that people have to pay when it comes to using the roads. This, of course, goes along with the bigger plans of the World Economic Forum and their Great Reset, where they talked about their vision for the future, where people wouldn't be able to drive, and their quote would be public transportation available everywhere. Again, this infrastructure bill not only will be mandating breathalyzers in almost every single car, new taxes, new restrictions, more regulations that hurt the average person while helping out the multinational billionaire monopolies that exist out there, but it also paves the way for another $3.5 trillion budget spending spree, and we wonder why inflation remains at a 13-year high at 5.4%. And those are the official numbers. The unofficial numbers, especially when you go to the grocery store, especially when you go buying items that are commonly bought that people depend on. And what is inflation? Inflation is a tax on people's savings, as of course the value of your US dollar that you are holding is literally being liquidated right in front of your eyes. The value of what you worked hard for is literally disappearing as the government keeps recklessly spending money that it doesn't have. What happens when you do that? Well, you obviously debase and you devalue the currency, and that's why used car prices are up 42%, gas prices up 49%, and of course they will continue to rise from here. And if you remember, during the beginning of last year's scandal that has ridden the world, I told everyone, don't look at the larger health or social or political ramifications here. The long-term consequences will, of course, be financial. I do believe we are seeing the beginning ramifications of that, and in my opinion, it will only be getting worse from here. Now, I have a lot more insight to share, but I can't share it here. Later on today, I will be talking about a lot of very important topics that I can't discuss here on LukeUncensored.com, including some very troubling videos and developments that are absolutely deserved to be talked about in larger context. Sadly, the platform that we are on right now does not provide us that ability to do this. That's fine. We created our own platform. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? We most likely might be even raising prices in the future. Right now, it's just 50 cents a day. LukeUncensored.com. And every single training video that we do, a part of our apocalypse survival self-defense training drill, will of course be up there in HD, great audio. So even if you can't attend these events, we have one coming up this Saturday, you will be able to see every single video of what happened on LukeUncensored.com. And by the way, we still have a few tickets remaining this Saturday, 12 p.m. in New England. Get your tickets now for a truly, really fun, entertaining, and exciting event that, of course, I am putting on. Hope to see you there. If you want more information about that, go to learnfromluke.com. Everything will be in the description below. Now, very interestingly, there was a rare glimpse, a rare moment of actual clarity and truth that was surprisingly presented by CNN. This, of course, as author Andrew Sullivan went on the network and publicly declared that, quote, government isn't there to hold your hands and that it's an illusionary idea to think that you could have victory over this sickness, while also highlighting how kids are 18 times more likely to die from drowning than from this actual sickness. This message was broadcast during Anderson Cooper's, a former CIA trainee's broadcast, and Andrew's message resonated with a lot of people because he didn't just talk eloquently and passionately, but he talked to it with common sense, which is absolutely rare today. Now, that video is still up on YouTube, but very interestingly, a U.S. Senator, specifically U.S. Senator Rand Paul, also issued very similar statements on his personal YouTube channel, specifically addressing very similar points made by Andrew Sullivan in his video where he talked about non-compliance to government tyranny, while also, of course, addressing and critiquing YouTube for censoring other medical professionals and individuals from having an honest discussion about what's actually going on here. In response to that, YouTube responded by literally deleting his video and blocking him for a week from using the #1 video uploading site in the world. Now, honestly, if you're going to punish Rand Paul, you should be punishing Anderson Cooper and CNN, but not surprisingly, I think it's fair to say that YouTube won't be taking any strong actions against CNN. But these are very strong actions against a sitting U.S. Senator who has worked in the medical professional as a doctor, and as a sitting U.S. Senator, he's privy to a lot of information that the general public is not privy to. And whether you agree with him or disagree with him, I think it's fair to say that this censorship is absolutely uncalled for and definitely a step towards a very dangerous direction, which has been escalating from here, pushing towards a society where, of course, a few tech monopolies get to control the major communications highways, while there's no relatively viable solution or alternative to them. And again, as this started, it started with very bad people. At first, hateful people were taken down from the internet, and many people looked the other way. Then, of course, there was targeted attacks against individuals like Alex Jones. People then decided to look the other way. Then it was a former U.S. president. Now it's sitting U.S. senators. Who's next to be censored? Well, honestly, there's not that many people left. And when this becomes the case, we are living in an ever so dangerous situation where people's ability to even communicate with each other is slowly and surely being taken away. Now, one harsh critic of Rand Paul is, of course, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, who has heavily criticized Rand Paul for, quote, allegedly making this situation that much worse. The same Rashida Tlaib that has been seen dancing without a mask, allegedly with hundreds of people at an indoor wedding. This as Rashida heavily criticized Rand Paul on his approach towards this sickness, while of course she's being allowed to play by a totally different set of rules. So are a lot of other supposed globalists, shot callers, and government bureaucratic agents who will be arriving at the climate summit in the United Kingdom, and of course won't be facing any restrictions like regular average people are. And as we detailed on this channel before, the billionaire class gets to do whatever they want, to live by a different set of rules, as there's more and more anger pointed against average citizens, trying to make them the target of more discriminatory, restrictive, limiting policies that will only hurt more people. Again, we have to understand censorship stifles debate, stifles honest and real conversations that could lead to truth, that could lead to discoveries, that could lead to prosperity. And by limiting it and suppressing it, as well as people's personal freedoms and liberties, you are only creating a situation that will lead people worse off, more ill-informed, more ignorant, more dumb, and less capable of discerning with critical thinking skills the right actions to take. And some might think that this might be the reason why this is happening in the first place. Again, we're living in a very Orwellian world that is becoming more and more Orwellian, as Rothschild banker French President Emmanuel Macron recently declared that showing papers everywhere you go with a domestic passport permission slip given out by government bureaucrats if you jump through their hoops is what freedom is about. And that right there, in my opinion, is absolute top-notch criminality. But that is my personal opinion. What do you think? Do you think I'm wrong in any way, shape, or form? If you do, let me know why down in the comment section below, and dislike the video. If you liked what I had to say, like the video, and most importantly, don't even just share this video with your friends, family members, random people walking down the street. You see someone out the window, you open up your window, say, hey, did you watch that YouTube video from the channel We Are Change? Person's going to be dazed, going to be confused. In that moment, you say, watch it right now. We Are Change. Go to YouTube. And other than that, next video, we're going to be teaching you how to make smoke signals promoting larger messages of truth. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.